Hi there, I'm glad you could join me because I wanted to show you how simple it is to make this fabulous mermaid water card. It's caused quite a lot of stir. People look at it and think, how on earth have you made it? Well, it's come from this paper crafts pad, so I'm going to show you exactly what things we've used in it and how simple it is to do. So first of all, I've torn out one of these lovely inserts so you can see that you get that beautiful background effect. The other thing that I've used is some of the decoupage mermaids. So we'll talk about that in a little while when I show you how to get this background done first. So with your display globes, what you'll see you'll get is this. So placing that over the top, I was thinking about it and I thought it doesn't really make it that easy to see where we're going to put that. So if you come up against something where you're wanting it set perfectly, then this is what I would suggest that we do. So I'm just going to put that display globe there, so then I know that that's going to hit just around where this lovely anemone is. So I know there that once I've got that there, that's going to fit perfectly there. It doesn't have to be perfect. And before we start anyway, I'm going to draw around this in pencil. And if it happens to be that you don't like where it's actually centered, so you see that that's going to fit there perfectly. If you find that that doesn't fit where you want it centered, then that's fine. We can just rub that out and start again. But for now, this is where it's going to be. So then to cut this out easily, if I was keeping it, if I was keeping the inside of it, what I would be doing is just going around the outside edge like this. So maybe start around here, use your scalpel, and if you go along the outside edge, you'll find that this display globe is going to fit you perfectly. So we can cut it like that. If you didn't want to be cutting it with your scalpel like that, obviously you can just put your cross in the middle of your card here and then use your scissors, but I might want to just use that insert again. So I'm just going to go around. Don't worry if it goes over the edges too much. I'm just making sure I can see exactly where that is because of the camera lights. So we're going round. And again, if this doesn't fit perfectly, then there's ways and means that we can move that along. So I've come over a little bit there, so I want to go around there. So that's going to then match up with the cut area. So I've gone to there. Okay, then so I need to go a little bit further around. So just follow your paper line around. And there we go. So we've got that cut out. Now one of the things that I wouldn't do straight away is to actually cut any more from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this right over the edge, because obviously we can place our dies over your other one. So we've got quite a lot of space there. So I'm just going to take that down like that. I'm going to try the display globe over the top so I can see that that's going to fit. Now if I want to use that as a background, then I can, so you can see that that's going to match perfectly in there like that. The other thing that you get that we do supply are the tri-fold oval cards, oval aperture cards. Now don't worry if you don't get these because they're so easy. With this, if I didn't have an aperture card, so we're imagining that this is a blank card like this, all I would do is I would place that on top of the card and then draw around on the circle, then cut that out, and then that's going to fit perfectly. So it can be any colour background that you want. It's just I happen to have them, so I'm going to use it. Okay then, so now assembling it to get the water inside. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some silicone gel. Just making sure that I've got my acetate ready to hand. So the acetate, we're just going to cut this roughly so that we don't have too much going on around the outside, but just very roughly. I've got that ready there now. So with your gel, with your silicone, what I'm going to do is get that out of there like that. Now what you need to do is just go around. You can see that I'm not going too near the inside lip there, and that'll all become clear when I put the acetate on the top. So you need it to have no breaks whatsoever in the silicone, because this has got to be a watertight seal. So it's easy if you just put your fingers inside your display globe and then move that round, and it means that you don't get this silicone all over your hands. So quite a good bit, but again you can see that I'm just going around the outside edge. Take that all the way around. So you're just going to check that you've gone all the way around and that you've got nothing, no spaces inside. So once you're happy with that, then comes the fun stuff. So what we've got here is a jug of water. There's no actual dimensions or measurements, so you just need to put, I would say, a couple of spoonfuls in, but it's easier if you actually just use your jug with your water. So maybe it's no more than that, certainly no more than that. What you then need to do is to make sure that you've got your acetate nice and clean, particularly on the inside of it, because once this is on there, you're not going to be able to take it off. So we're going to place that down gently onto the display globe with your water in. And what I would then do is either use the end of a paintbrush, or I happen to have one of my little tools here, and we're just going to gently move that around. Now in doing that, I know that you can see that now. You can see that that silicone is spreading. So that's why we always say don't put too much on the inside, because then you run the risk of it going over onto the inside of the display globe, which is then going to be seen. So don't press too hard, because you still want to have quite that thick area of silicone. And even at this stage, if you see any areas that you think, oh, actually that looks like there's a break in there, you could lift that up and redo it. So just very, very carefully going around there until you're happy. Now really, really check at this stage that there's nothing else needs to be. You don't need to put any more silicone in. And at that stage, that's when you would leave it. You would leave it for 24 hours. Definitely. I would leave it overnight. So then I would just lift that up, leave it to dry. And we're so happy to just have one here. So you can see that obviously the silicone dries very white there. But you can also see that that is not going to leak anyway. And that's your most important thing. So we've got the water in there, and I know that we're going to need to just tidy that up a little bit. So you can cut quite close, but be careful that you don't cut too close where you're going to actually make a gap where the water's going to leak out. So we're just going to cut around there. It does cut very simply, very easily. I have tried putting different colours in. So if you're thinking, oh, I could have put a little bit of blue in. I would recommend actually that you don't. A couple of reasons. One, that the colour just really doesn't do anything for that, for the card. It's sort of, it doesn't allow the picture to come through as nicely as I would have liked. So there we've got the water in the card. So what I'm going to do then is, I'm going to start and set up the decoupage. So we've got the decoupage here and we've got the background here. Okay then, so I'm going to fit that onto the front there like that. So we can start by just checking, and I can actually put a little pencil mark around here just to say that I know where that next piece is going to go, because that's going to fit inside there, and then I'm going to put the decoupage on. So we'll open that up. And again, it's important that you don't do upside down cards. I've done quite a few. So make sure that when you're checking it, before you actually glue it down, that that's going to be the area you glue, and that card is going to open from the right hand side. So we've got that all ready. And as we say, we can use this as a background You don't really have to, but I just think it's there. And if you've got any decoupage pieces that maybe are coming over the top of that, then they would fit perfectly. Now the decoupage comes obviously in your pack. So what I would say is when you're decoupaging, you take the largest obviously design that you've got, and then it's whatever you look at that is going to be next closest to you. So what we've got here, I'm just going to check that I like where that's placed in there. Yep, she's okay there, it looks quite cozy. So the next piece, what you can see that I've done there is I haven't cut that out, but I've taken the front part of the fin and I've taken the cushion, which is hanging over, and then all of the hair. So that would be the next part of your decoupage. I then just put it onto some foam pads. And obviously if you didn't want to do this, if you didn't want to do a decoupage, then just use one image, like so. And that's still going to look perfectly well. I've already put a little bit of glitter on. So the last bit, because this would be, again, this is the front area. So it's this arm and the head and the hair. That would be the next front bit. So that's where you kind of build your layers up for your decoupage. So again, just a couple of little foam pads on there like that. Place her down into position there. So we've got her nice and comfy in there. So the next bit would be actually gluing the display globe onto there. So we're going to put our glue around here. You can use double-sided tape, but just for this quick demo I'm just going to use my glue and make sure that that fits nicely on there. So then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start gluing this area. So I can actually just open that out and I'm going to put the glue onto the front of the card because that's the area that I want it to fit, and then I can just cut that to size. So we'll make sure we put plenty of glue around there, and in doing so we're going to hide all of the workings of our display globe. So make sure that you can see that we've got that fitting quite nicely there, and then that would fold on the inside. So there we can see that just settled in that beautiful cozy little submarine that's just got there. Now I would leave that to dry and then I'm going to glue that. So to get this done, just put your glue on the inside here. Obviously don't go onto your decoupage. So I'm going to glue that, turn that over, place that down there. So what you can see I've done to finish this off is to just leave this to dry, and then I've cut it to the parameters of the card. So all we need now to make this card absolutely perfect is to use some of our seaside embellishments. So there's a whole range from seahorses, seashells, that type of thing. So I've made these up in air dry clay and I've just put a little bit of glue on there. So we're just going to place him down there. And the beauty of these seahorses, and I do love them, is that we've got them going both ways, and obviously you've got larger ones, and then the shells, the detail on these shells, absolutely exquisite. And of course you've got the ability to make them in your air dry clay. So what I tend to do is use all little bits of me coloured clays, because I know that I'm going to be painting them. I mean, look how dinky these little shells are, aren't they? Just absolutely adorable. So you can either paint them before you stick them onto your card, which sometimes is a sensible idea, but sometimes I do like to just place them down, say where I want to put them, and then I'll paint them. So whichever way you're comfortable in doing. So it doesn't really need very much. So painting them, lots of people ask, what do you paint them with? So I tend to favour food colour, either gels or these metallic colours that we've got, and obviously you can use pretty much anything else that you've got. So maybe it's your sparkle pens, your glitter glues, your acrylic pens, paints, whatever it is you want to use. So when I'm doing them, I tend just to open them up and then use from the lid. Obviously, I know these are food colour, but because we're using them with craft now, then you obviously wouldn't use them with your cakes. But they do lend themselves to absolutely brilliant colours, and with them being metallic, again, they're particularly suitable if you're using them for your underwater scenes. So we just need a little bit of water here to wash my brushes out. So maybe we'll start with a little bit of this blue, and I'm just going to go down the middle of this seahorse. I'll do the other one as well while we're here. And obviously, because they're different, you don't have to have them all exactly the same. Right, so I'm just going to, this water, I'll clean that off for you. And then maybe we'll put a little bit green on. So you can see I'm just going to bring the green tones in because I want that not to be mixed in. So I can do that on the fins. Maybe we can do that on the face as well. Look, there, can you see the detail that then that starts to bring out? Absolutely gorgeous. To blend it, look how easily that blends in. And the colours then kind of become very, very rainbow-like and iridescent. It's just such a fabulous technique that you may not have seen before, but all down to beautiful food colour. So again, we're going to use, I might use a little bit out of the top of this rather than put my paintbrush down inside it. So wherever you want the natural colour, so I just want a little bit of that green to stay that colour, but then what I'm going to do is, then we're going to blend that again. So look at the difference in that colour when you blend it. You can see that iridescent just shining through. Absolutely gorgeous. You'll have great fun with this, and because they're obviously non-toxic, because you can use it just with your water to clean your brushes, they really are exceptionally good. So another type of thing that you can do, got a little bit of that gold here at the top. So again, we're using the natural colour there, but then because I want to add a little bit more colour in, I'm going to use a little bit of that blue. Just bring that down into the tip, halfway down into the shell. And then we can even add a different colour, so let me go for, maybe it's the pale blue. So again, I want a little bit colour just down here, so I'm just going to start and spread that in. So can you see the way that that's going to blend in? You can add a little bit of water to it, so don't be frightened if you wanted to blend that little bit more, but again there, can you see? So you can use whatever colour you want to use, and that then just tones in, gives that beautiful iridescent look. If you're using it on the insides of your little conch shell, just go in there with your blue, and then we'll put a bit of a paler colour, I think, over the top. Maybe a pale blue to start. And because it's kind of magical, you can just do whatever it is you want to do with it, and, you know, just do your own thing. I think I quite fancy gold for that lovely razor shell there. So I have a little bit gold over there. Use a little bit more of that lovely blue, that beautiful deep blue. So we'll start at the tip of it. You see how the colours just change. So it means that every one you do just takes on its own tones. And if you didn't like that colour, no problem in you going over it again. So you can see very, very simply how easy that is, how fantastic the detail of those shells, the seahorse, and of course that beautiful watercolour card. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed showing you it, and there's lots more to be able to see. So if you're interested in the shells, there are some more tutorials on the website, so hopefully I'll see you again soon.